are taking a closer look into Hurricane Helene. We have Ron and Jill joining us with a guest, I think.
You guys over there? There
Well,
they are.
we're over here.
We're here.
Did we wake you up?
We have Ingrid Allstat, a former anchor and meteorologist who is in Asheville, North Carolina right now. And let's just start right off. Can you hear us? Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Kind of set the stage of where you're at and what's happening there.
So just so you know, that is a palm tree behind me. We evacuated the mountains and now we are along, ironically, the coast, avoiding the hurricane destruction. So we came here a couple days after the storm hit because the lack of power and water, and I have 4 young children, ages 8, 5, 3, and a baby, 3-month-old. So it's a lot to juggle. So we decided to leave town for a few days, but we don't know what to do next because the water is still not back in Asheville. That's a huge, huge issue for bathing, for flushing toilets, for obviously drinking water. The cell service was down for days. So we couldn't contact our loved ones to even check on them to see if they were okay. So we had to, if we could, drive to our family's homes to check on them. Thankfully, all my family is alive and well.
Good.
But the town is devastated, is decimated. It looks like a bomb went off in some areas. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking, even for us to watch that, but I can't imagine what you're going through. What about your home? Is it gone, or are you going to be able to get back in there at some point?
You're breaking up a little bit, but I think you said my home. My home is fine. My property is fine.
Oh, good.
Thankfully. But same can't be said for my coworkers, for my friends. Trees right through the home. And beyond just the damage, the structural damage, which I think a lot of your viewers have already seen, are things that maybe you don't think about. Like, for example, my friend's daughter broke her arm and the hospital didn't have power or water. So what do you do with your child when they can't get medical help? The people in the OR don't have running water. They can't clean themselves appropriately for surgery, but they still had to save people's lives. I mean, it's something unbelievable that we never thought we would face. So my friend had to take her daughter hours away to another hospital to get surgery. I have another friend that's 9 months pregnant, and they told her to just go out of town and try to find another doctor, another hospital to have her baby. They couldn't provide medical care. We're still in a recovery mode in Western North Carolina, trying to find people. A week later,
my neighbor's trailer, and we started writing them down.
Sorry, we had a little bit of audio there. So a lot of people obviously are needing to get out of town if they can, but there's a lot of people that just can't, right? Are you able to hear us still? Oh, we might have lost her.
Okay, Ingrid, let's try again. Can you hear us right now?
I can't hear you. I'm not hearing. You're trying to talk to me. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we're just going to ask what's it like to try to get food? What are supermarkets like? I'm not sure if she can hear that.
Hello, I'm sorry. There was other audio that I was hearing.
Oh, that's okay. We were just asking, what is it like? How are people actually getting food that are still there? And what are supermarkets like?
Okay, so supermarkets at first after the storm, they were closed. They were slowly getting back online, and there were lines of people around the block waiting for hours to get in, and they were letting like 10 people in at a time to get supplies. And a lot of the supplies were just gone. Gas lines were around the block if the gas stations were even online, because you need power to turn on the gas pumps. The only way I got out of town was my brother left and drove across the state, filled up gas tanks, came back and filled up my car so we could get our family out. I mean, it's stuff you wouldn't believe. Like we are a beautiful little small town nestled in the mountains, a tourist destination, and now it's just completely decimated. So people are still waiting to get water and food, but it's really grassroots organizations and people in neighborhoods driving to different cities, filling up their trucks, driving back to give the folks diapers, formula, baby food, dog food. FEMA is there now, but it took a while for those organizations to get into the mountains because major interstates were closed. I-40 East, if you've ever traveled from Raleigh west into the mountains, maybe to visit the Biltmore House or something like that, it was shut down in all directions. So there was no way to truck in water or anything, mobile units to give us cell signals because all the cell towers were down. But that finally reopened. I-26 finally reopened. That's how we got out of town. It's going to be a marathon to get back to some semblance of normal.
Wow. Oh, yes. It's something that's probably going to take years and years. Yes. Were you kind of not expecting the storm to be this horrible? Do you think folks there were really prepared for this?
No, how could you be prepared for something that you thought would never happen? This was something we thought could never happen. I worked as a meteorologist in that market for 7 years and covered many tropical storms. And yes, there was some flooding, some roads washed out. People are very aware of their property, of the weather in the mountains. And those folks, I think, knew that there could be some flooding, like the normal places, but where it flooded, it's never done anything like that before. And meteorologically speaking, there were 2 days of rain prior to Helene's rain. So the ground was so saturated with record rainfall for days that when the wind came with Helene, toppled over all those trees, just snapped them.
That makes sense.
Right. So the amount of trees that knocked down power lines is, I can't even fathom how many.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for your perspective, Ingrid. Just a devastating description that you gave us this morning.
Like you said, you really can't prepare for something that devastating. So, well, the very best to you. Our prayers go out to you and so many others whose lives have been impacted.